Tell me about the time you had to adapt to a major change in an organization. This question is the perfect opportunity for candidates to showcase their flexibility, adaptability, and resilience, but it can be tricky to get that message across to the interviewer. That's why today we're going to tackle this interview question head on, really get stuck into how to impress the interviewer with our knowledge, our skills, and our experience. In this video, I'm going to reveal to you the 5 key steps that will have you crafting a perfect answer first time and every time. I'll also share with you the 7 most common mistakes candidates make so you can avoid them. We'll look at how to choose an impactful example, and then after all of that, we'll put together everything we've learned with an example answer that you can tailor to your needs. This could be a real game changer at your next interview. If you hate the sound of my voice, you should check out the show notes for a link to a text article on this topic. Other than that, let's begin. We are going to start off with answer structure and the 5 steps to take to construct the perfect response. These type of questions, often called competency-based questions, are all about sharing your experience with the interviewer. The interviewer wants to hear what you did, how you did it, and maybe most important of all, why you did it. In order to achieve this, your answer needs to be well structured. You need to ensure that you hit all the key points that you want the interviewer to hear in a logical order, while also avoiding the urge to ramble on. The best way to pull this off is by using the B-star method. Using this method, you will split your answer into 5 parts. The first is the B, which stands for belief. You want to begin your response by sharing your thoughts and feelings regarding the subject matter. This helps set the stage for your answer and demonstrate your personal connection to the topic. If this doesn't make much sense to you, don't worry, our example answer will be using this structure later in this video. Next up, we have S for situation. Briefly describe the context or background of the scenario in which your actions took place. This provides the interviewer with an understanding of the circumstances surrounding your experience. Remember, it's essential to keep this part concise, as the primary focus should be on your actions and the results. Just give the interviewer the quick who, what, where, when, and why. Following the situation, we have T for task. Explain your specific role and responsibilities in the situation. Up next, we have the most important section, and that is A for action, or activity if you prefer. Describe the steps you took to achieve the desired outcome, and explain the rationale behind your actions. This part of your answer should be the most detailed, as it shows the interviewer just what you are capable of doing. And finally, we have R for the results. Conclude your response with the results of your actions, using figures or quantifiable outcomes wherever possible. This will demonstrate to the interviewer the impact of your efforts and your ability to deliver tangible results in your role. This is also where you could share any lessons you learned from the experience. So now you know the ideal structure to use when answering this question. Next up, you need to pick the best example from your experience to tell the interviewer. Later on, I will share 3 tips for picking the perfect example, but for now, let's look at some of the most common mistakes candidates make when addressing this question. First up, do not avoid the question. Everyone faces challenging and adapting to change. Avoiding the question can make it seem like you're unwilling to acknowledge these challenges, whereas interviewers are interested in seeing how you manage them. Do not downplay the situation. If you make a situation where you had to adapt seem trivial, it might look like you don't take adapting seriously or underestimate the complexities of change in the workplace. Do not overhype the situation. On the other hand, overemphasizing your struggles with change can suggest you're not resilient or adaptable, giving the impression that you're overwhelmed by normal workplace transitions. Do not give a one-sentence answer. A brief answer can indicate a lack of reflection on your experiences with change. Interviewers seek insights into your thought process and adaptability skills. Do not overly describe the scenario and miss the action. Focusing too much on the situation without explaining how you adapted can miss the point. Highlighting your actions and strategies for adapting is key. Do not have a passive role in the situation. Showing that you passively face change rather than actively managing it can suggest a lack of initiative or adaptability, which are important in dynamic work environments. And finally, do not forget to mention what you learned. The most crucial aspect is the learning and growth you experience from adapting to change. Failing to discuss this can imply a missed opportunity for personal and professional development. So, we've explored how to construct our response, and we've also looked at pitfalls to avoid when answering this question. Next, let's delve into selecting the most effective example to use in our answer. Think about the following points when you're coming up with stories from your experience to tell the interviewer. The first thing your answer should have is a positive outcome. Choose an example that can only be described as a success driven by you and one which you can use to showcase the benefits of your actions. This is not to say you can't have taken lessons away from the venture, and it is always good to talk about how you would improve upon your actions in the future, but the underlying situation should be resolved successfully when you are outlining your answer. The second thing your example should be is relevant to the job you are applying for. Choose an example that is closely related to the job you're applying for. An example that is from the same industry or sector would be the most preferable. A good trick here would be to learn what upcoming work your new team has in the pipeline and use examples from your past that are relevant to that work. And finally, your example should represent a challenge. Look for examples where you faced a significant challenge or problem and were able to resolve it effectively. Put simply, you are trying to impress the interviewer. Make sure your example isn't some run-of-the-mill situation that anybody could have fixed. Pick an example which shows that only you had the skills or know-how to get the job done. Now, this is what you've been waiting for. We're going to put everything we have learned together and see a B-star example in action. Again, the question being answered is, tell me about a time you had to adapt to a major change in an organization. I strongly believe in the importance of flexibility and resilience in the workplace, and I view changes within an organization not just as challenges, but as opportunities for growth and improvement. When our company underwent a major merger, it was initially a challenging period for everyone. I felt it was crucial to stay positive and adaptable during this transition. At that time, I was leading a project team in the marketing department. The merger meant integrating with a larger team from the other company, which had different working styles and strategies. My role was to ensure a smooth amalgamation of the two teams and a successful continuation of our ongoing projects. I took the initiative to organize joint team meetings, creating an open platform for everyone to voice concerns and suggestions. I also proposed a series of collaborative workshops to align our methodologies and goals. It was important for me to not only manage the logistics of this change, but also to maintain team morale. As a result of these actions, we were able to integrate the teams effectively within 2 months. We even managed to increase our project output by 20% in the subsequent quarter. This experience was a testament to the power of proactive leadership and open communication during times of significant organizational change. Alright then, that wraps up our analysis of this interview question. I hope by watching this video you will be more prepared for this question in your next interview. Speaking of being prepared, if there are any other interview questions you struggle with, let me know in the comments and we will tackle that question in our very next video. Till then, I hope your next interview is a success. Take care and goodbye from me.